Hello and welcome to the Skaredcast tournament and review. I'm Skari and today I'm taking my double Void Raven Bomber list to a GT in Ottawa where the first prize is $1,000 cash. Let's begin.
The Dark Kid.
Hello and welcome to the tournament and review. So here we go. Let's take a look at the list. Now, if any of you haven't watched one of these videos before, I will break down the army list that I'm taking to the Grand Tournament. I'm going to let you know what my thought process is, and then we're going to go to the event. I'm going to recap every game, and then I'm going to come back and tell you what I learned and things that I would change as I develop this list concept. And here we have 2,000 points of Drukhari. Now, I'm very excited to try this list and take it to a tournament. I've played about 15 games with it in practice before these 5 rounds of the GT. And so I know the Void Raven Bombers seem to be working very well with the list concept. However, it's time to stress test the Bombers, take them to an event against high-level competitive players, and see if it stands up to what I had thought in my head. The list itself is pretty simple. I'll put a link to the list in the description, of course, so you can check it out. But it is based on the SkySplinter detachment. Starting with the characters, we have a Beast Pack Master, we have the Warlord Archon, we have a secondary Archon as well, and then of course we have Lilith Hesprax herself. Supporting that, we've got 10 Witches, say the Hecatrix with all the upgrades. We've got 2 units of Cavalite Warriors with all the upgrades. The Sergeants do have the Blast Pistols and Saberite weapon. In support of that, we do have 2 Mandrake units. Now, of course, these are the brand new Mandrakes from the Kill Team box set, and they look so cool. I do have a Kronos for some Pain Token shenanigans. I've got 2 Scourge units, one with Dark Lances, one with Haywires, 4 Venoms with double cannon, and 1 Raider. The Void Raven Bombers round out the list. 430 points of pure firepower. They work very similarly to what the old Ravagers with Disintegrator Cannons used to do, except you mix that with the ability to essentially see anything on the table and the ability to shoot basically whatever they can see with the old towering rules. And this list has the ability to pack quite a punch, move around the table, score objectives and points, but also do shooting and close combat, screening, anti-infantry, anti-tank, anti-monster very well. It is a very versatile list. So with that, that's the theory. Let's go to the event. Let's see how the list does, and then we'll come back to the studio, break it down, and I'll give you my thoughts, as well as if I would change the list at all moving forward. I just picked up Dicky.
What do I do with my hands?
You just keep them where I can see. And here we are at the Capital Clash at the Red Dragon in Ottawa. First round, get to play against some World Eaters. Very excited. I'm running my double Void Raven Bomber list, as you saw. This is the Ritual Hammer and Anvil on one of the WTC style tables. You know, so I'm very excited to try this out. There's a Lord of Skulls, there's Angron, there's like a Land Raider, Forge Fiend. And this table is relatively open in the middle, so there's a lot of stuff that we can get done as well. So really looking forward to it too. Okay, so wish me luck. There's lots of happenings. Oh, it's gonna be a good time. 5 rounds this weekend. Lots of fun people. I'm really excited about it. It's check out the Red Dragon, by the way, the link in the description. There's a code. You can use the code Skaredcast. You get 15% off like store-wide, and he's got so much stock. It's wild. Okay, check it out. Okay, so end of the game. So at the end of my 3rd turn, we had 6 8-bound that were here basically fighting, and I basically killed the rest of the World Eaters. The Void Raven Bombers came in, and then they just started clearing up all the chaff, but I was able to, once the Lord of Skulls and Angron went down, turn 2, I was able to really pressure the rest of the table and essentially just solidify all the objectives while taking very few casualties with the bounce back and forth. So with that, that's a good victory for the Dark Eldar, and we're moving on to battle round number 2. Now it's interesting to move these around these boards because in WTC, these buildings are infinitely high, so you're not actually allowed to like overlap these like buildings here, right? So you can't like put a wing over the building. So you have to be very careful how you move them around, which is very interesting. But you know, after you play with them a little bit, you get used to it. And I love the fact that they have the old towering rule, so you can like sit here and shoot stuff like behind buildings and whatnot. And I think that's really awesome.
One of the things I love about coming to events is just looking at all the hobby, which is awesome. This Imperial Fist army. Sons of Dorn, that's right. Being a Black Templar player myself, I have a soft spot for the Fists of the Emperor. And here we are, round number 2. I get to play Francois and Blood Angels. So Van Vets, dudes, Death Company, regular intercessors, big brick, Van Vets again, scouts, right? It's basically 50 jump pack Marines. They're just gonna run at me. Good mission, good board for me. Very tough game because Blood Angels right now are hot, hot, hot. So, wish me luck. Francois is going first though. So, hey, how's it going? You've seen Francois play, and this time I didn't bring Tantaluses, which makes me sad.
So I have a chance of winning now.
You have a chance. No Tantaluses. Okay, with that, let's see what happens. This is a test, first time ever. I'm really looking forward to this game. And that's the end of the game. I pulled one out of my butt at the end. It came down to a bomber doing a bomb on the Sanguinor and putting 5 mortal wounds on him. And then killing almost an entire unit of assault intercessors that was a 5-man to help me solidify my home objective. And then a unit of mandrakes that was able to go into the enemy objective and pass a battle shock test for capture enemy outpost after my Void Raven bomber shot the hell out of an infiltrator unit the turn before through smoke and armor of contempt. It was wild. And then at the end, very close game, 17-3 for the Drukhari, going second.
The bombers won you that game.
They
were
did.
Amazing.
Yeah, go bombers.
Go bombers.
Yeah, you get a pet. Pet. Awesome. With that, wish me luck going on to round 3, which is the hardest matchup for me because this mission was good. It's Purge the Foe next round. Oh no.
I'd much rather play you on that.
I know. Okay, on to the next one. Round number 3, I'm playing against Zach. He brought a shark, which is awesome. Has to rapid ingress because the base is so big. You need to rapid ingress it to use it at all. So it's the Battle of the Plains. Lots of Tau. It's actually Purge the Foe, which is like madness is what it is. Absolute madness. So far, Zach going first really helped him. It has been a bloodbath back and forth. I think this turn coming up will really determine kind of how the rest of the game happens, and then we'll go from there. And that's the end of the game. Came down basically to an absolute run-of-the-mill draw. This Riptide lived with 1 wound, passing his last invulnerable save after a grenade only did 2 damage to it. No, those Riptides, I just couldn't kill him. But a draw, 10-10, 91 to the Drukhari and 90 for the Tau. That thing actually shoots way more than it should. It's hilarious. Other than that, good game. So now with the draw going into the final 2 rounds, let's go get some food. Round number 4, playing against Old Chaos Codex because it's out next week. Okay, so we're all really excited about Chaos. A couple of indicators though, they're like really trendy. Chosen, Health, Forge Fiend, a couple of Predators that did go down. I did a crazy sustained 2 on the Dark Lance and got 3 hits with the Dark Lance, instantly blew up a Predator. It was wild. And then the Void Raven Bomber is doing Void Raven Bomber shenanigans as well. So, wish me luck. It is supply drop. However, Dark Eldar going first against pinning them in their zone. It's going to be tough for the Chaos Space Marines to come back from this, but they're fighting tooth and nail for the Dark Gods. End of the game. I did go first, and then the Beast Pack move block basically pinned the Chaos in their zone, and I was able to just dominate supply drop the entire game, and he just wasn't able to really get out of his zone. I killed the Rhinos early on, which put the Chosen and Legionnaires on foot, and then I was able to then kill the Vindicators and Predators and the Forge Fiend over time. You know, I lost lots of models, but it ended up being a 20-0 because he just wasn't able to score secondaries or primary, and I just had board control throughout the whole game. So with that, we have one more round. Round number 5. Wish me luck. Round number 5. This is the finals. Playing against Thomas and his Chaos. Again, Old Chaos. This time it's priority target. So hold 1, hold 2, end game scoring with sweeping engagement and a chilling rain. Ooh, chilling rain. Super fun though. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going second, which really helps in this mission. So we'll see basically how it all ties in, which will be really awesome. And so with that last game of Chaos, I did end up winning the game against the Chaos Space Marines. It was a 16-4. It was very, very close, a 14-6 or something like that. Very, very close game at the end, but I was able to win. Basically, I ended up sending most of my stuff into the possessed unit that he put in reserve, and I zoned and screened out the second unit possessed, so they weren't really able to have an impact on the game. My Void Raven Bombers were massive this game, killing all the Warp Talons,
protecting my home objective. And essentially at the end of the game, I only had a Venom and 5 Cabalite Warriors and 5 other Cabalite Warriors. Everything else was dead. What a wild ride. So with that, victory. Let's go back to the studio and take a look at the army and stuff. And there you have it, folks. First place. Awesome. That was such a fun event. It was very friendly. Everybody had a great time. Huge shout out to all 5 of my opponents. Complete and utter awesome sportsmen. So thank you so much for everything. Let's take a look at the list and break it down and what I learned. Huge shout out to the Red Dragon as well for basically making this video. Well, not making this video, putting on the tournament, and this trophy is really cool. I have another one up there, which is a second place one or third place one. This one's the first place one. Ha, nice. With that, we're back in the studio. Oh my goodness, it was such a game. So it was such a fantastic event. Huge shout out to the Red Dragon for putting it on. It was awesome. Lilith was fantastic. I really liked her. The witches are great. I think they stay. Just the ability to make her AP 4 and with a pain token when she's leading a unit was just absolute money. Now, the cool thing about this is we got 2 Archons, we got 1 unit of Incubi and 1 unit of the Court. Now, you could easily switch to a second unit of Incubi if you really wanted to, but I'm finding the Court to be incredibly useful for just a little bit more expensive. They have fights first, they have lethal hits, so fights first is from the Urgle, lethal hits is from the Lamian, -1 to be wounded on the unit from the Slith, and then the Medusa gives a battle shock flamer basically against infantry. The key to this little dynamic quadruo is that it's very versatile. So if I am fighting a close combat army that is quite tough, I can mix the Archon with the Incubi. I could even do a solo Court with the Archon if I wanted to in like a Venom, for example. But then I could, if I need the shooting, basically combine the Archon with the shooting elements of a Cabalite Warrior squad, and I could do it a second time. So I have 2 units of Cabalites that have Dark Lances, Blasters, all that stuff, with a pain token getting reroll hits and wounds. Of course, that then allows me to move the Court in with a unit of 5 after splitting them into Venom, and so have like a 10-strong unit that goes in the Raider, and that gives me a fights first unit of Cabalites that has lethal hits, has reroll hits, reroll wounds, and can also do quite a bit in combat as well. It's one of my favorite ways to run it. Beastpack was awesome, goes without saying. Absolutely fantastic pretty much every single game. The units of Mandrakes were great. The bigger base size, I didn't really notice too much of a gameplay difference. The Scourge were great. Haywires let me down in a couple of games. Like I literally rolled 0, very, very few dead wounds sometimes, but they're just so scary for your opponent. It's just amazing to take them. Dark Lances were reliable. They did their work. Venoms are good for the play. Raider is good. But we all want to know about the Bombers. The Void Raven Bombers were the absolute MVPs every single game. They're so expensive, but it means that you don't have to be overly aggressive with the rest of your army. And then when they arrive, they just change the tide and pace of the game to an exponential level. On a pain token, they have 2 different types of missiles. They can shoot either an anti-infantry one or a 3 damage one. And then they have 12 strength 8 AP 4 2 damage shots, 6 from each D-Scythe, which means that they basically mow down marine equivalent bodies, even kind of pick wounds off tanks and things like that very effectively. The bomb rarely does anything, like their ability to bomb. And the more I've been playing with them, the more I love it. Now, would I change anything in this list? The answer is this list is honed. I cannot, for the life of me, find anywhere to take anything out that would keep this list doing the same thing I want it to do. The only wiggle room I see is either dropping a Void Raven Bomber, which gives you 215 points. Now, if you wanted to do that, you could add a 3rd unit of Scourge and another Beastpack unit. Now, that might be better for just single play if you really want to. So that's one option if you don't want the 2 bombers, right? The other option is to drop the Court down to a unit of Incubi, so 10 points saved there. And then you can have 10 points for Spiteful Raider, which you could potentially use on one of the Archons, for example. And those are really the 2 options. I just find that the 2 bombers are excellent because when you have 2 of them, it's like a critical mass. And with the stratagem for a 4-up invulnerable save, the Night Shield, it makes them incredibly durable. Most of this army is hard to hit. We've got stealth mandrakes. The Void Raven Bombers have stealth. We've got the Venoms, which is stealth as well. And it just can be hard for your opponent to kill everything before the end of the game or before you score enough points to win the battle. So with that, there you have it, 2,000 points, competitive Drukhari, winning a GT, which was awesome. So leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite part was and if you think you're going to try something as well. So one of the main reasons I decided to take Void Raven Bombers to a competitive event is because I want you to know that you can be creative in your list building process. Take the time to think of a concept, put it into practice, and with work and effort, you can make stuff work that even the internet says is terrible. So that's just really one of the main reasons I wanted to take the Bombers, was to give you an idea of a concept that's a little out there, a little wacky, that might look a little odd, and kind of like make it work. And I put the work, the effort, the dedication into doing that to kind of show you that it is possible for you to do the same. You don't have to take what I say is good and use that. You don't have to take what anybody else says is good and only do that. Test the concepts in your list. Test the detachments that everybody say are crap. Test the units that people say are silly or not points efficient and see if they vibe with you. You would be surprised in what you find out. And there you have it, folks. Thanks all for tuning in. This has been another tournament in review with me, Skari, your grateful host. And of course, stay tuned. You can like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And a huge shout out to all the channel Patreons, without whom none of this is possible. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, the link is in the description below. There's a bonus Discord where we hang out. There is a TTS League and a Crusade League that we run, which is awesome. There is a bonus video every Monday and every Thursday, so you can do all that stuff as well. And I hope to see you in there because, the Dark Kin. Bye, everybody.